I recognize Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. Just generically, is it correct to state that the purpose of the census is to conduct a head count, which is to be used to determine the apportionment of this body and of presidential electors?
Correct.
And thus, inaccurate census counts could lead to skewed proportional representation among states in this body and a misallocation of electoral college votes.
Correct.
Has the Census Bureau identified any statistics? Well, let me ask it this way. We have seen reports that statistically significant overcounts were identified in New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Hawaii, Delaware, Minnesota, Utah, and Ohio. Conversely, statistically significant undercounts were identified in Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Illinois. And I personally, even though this has never been reported, I always think Arizona got hosed on that as well. But anyway, is that accurate, what I just, with regard to overcount and undercount?
I didn't compare it to the list I had, but I'm sure that you are correct.
And there were also, in 2010 and 2000, there was also undercounts and overcounts in those censuses
Correct.
as well. Okay. And because it is so vital, Congress has given authority for there to be penalties for failure to answer the decennial census, and that's a $5,000 fine. Is that fair?
I'm not familiar with the amount of the fine, but it is correct. Yeah.
Do you know the last time somebody was actually had that fine imposed for failure to respond to the decennial census?
The Census Bureau is not an enforcement agency, and we have.
Well, I know, that's what I'm just asking. Do you know?
So I was continuing with, we have never prosecuted anyone for not participating.
So to your knowledge, no one's ever.
That is correct.
Okay. You conduct other surveys, one of which is this document, American Community Survey, right?
Correct.
And it has a much more detailed set of questions like whether the respondent's house, apartment, or mobile home has a sink with a faucet, the amount of money paid monthly for rent, electricity, highest level of educational attainment of respondents and their families, whether they have health insurance coverage, whether last week was this person temporarily absent from a job, what their wages are, amount of income from interest, dividends, or rental income, whether the respondent has difficulty concentrating because of a physical, mental, or emotional condition, whether the respondent has difficulty dressing or bathing, and the list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. And that would be in the American Community Survey. There's penalties for failure to respond to that as well.
Correct.
What are those penalties?
I am not familiar with those, but I expect that they would be similar to the decennial, because the American Community Survey is part of the decennial census but spread across time.
So how many times has someone been prosecuted for failing to respond to a Census Bureau survey, including the American Community Survey?
To my knowledge, that has never occurred.
So, but you have it on the survey, and it scares the holy crap out of our constituents, saying that if you don't file this, and look, I had my deceased father-in-law was 85. He had some coming back every 3 weeks telling him that they were going to put him in jail if he didn't answer this thing. I mean, this is the absurdity. I'm not blaming you per se, because it's Congress's fault. Because I think the whole frickin' American Community Survey should not be going forward. You got the decennial census. There is a purpose to that decennial census, and as you said, it is the apportionment. That's what it's about. But when we start saying, hey, do you know who all lives here at your house? Do you got running water? And those types of things. I can tell you what my constituents, they say, we just want to be left alone. Why is the federal government continuing to go on? We're happy to answer every 10 years the census and say, we got 6 people here, 4 people, whatever it is. And I have a major problem with this, and I have a major problem with the fact that we hold it over people's heads, saying, if you don't answer this monstrosity here, you have criminal culpability. And that's a huge problem. And the reason I say that I'm not angry with you, I'm angry with us, is because we're the ones who can fix that. And we need to fix it. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back.
Gentleman yields back. And that's the purpose of this hearing, to make sure the same